Left your left, left right, your left. You got it.
Truck it on.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
Looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 Team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left your left, left right, your left. You got it.
Truck it on.
Good evening. Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. We are bringing you our weekly show / podcast. We call it We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. It is July 3rd. Welcome to our show. Every week, we bring you a guest. Many times, we also have a new musician, and we'll see if that happens tonight. We do have some new music to share with you. We share all the good. We share all the bad. Sometimes not so good. Sometimes really good. Things happening all over the world. Tonight's show will be an evening of fun and amazing discussion. We have got Daniel Sundahl here from Dan Sun Photos, and it's his artwork, but it's his story as well that we're super looking forward to hearing. Before we get started, I will ask that you take off your hat and stand if you can and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. Hey, we have a little surprise before we get started tonight. Mark's got a little something queued up for us. We would like to share this with you. as we get our show started.
That's not me. I go where I please. I walk through walls. I float down the lit field. I'm not here. This isn't happening. I'm not here. I'm not here. In a little while
Well, that's the end of the show. It's that's what we got for you. Gosh dang it, brother. We have Daniel Sundahl here with us, and we had to show that video. The video was put together perfectly, and you work in still, not necessarily photography, but pictures that you create that show the world of the EMS world, and there's some fun. I know why we got you to be on the show this weekend, because here in America, it is our Independence Day, and you're from Canada, so you don't have to celebrate with us, so you're free. I'm totally joking.
Well, we had our Canada Day on the 1st, so let me be the first to wish you an early birthday, I guess, day early. From Canada, I'll be the first.
Well, and thank you for Independence Day for Canada as well.
Yeah.
We do have Chuck Ruffin coming. I want to make sure he's safe, and we got our eyes on him and watching him. He's going to come in and share some stories. Our first Air Force, let me rephrase that, Space Force. Captain Ruffin is with us tonight as well. Just want to make sure he's in a safe place first before we bring him on screen, and we'll hear his story as we get going. And where do we even start? My goodness. Why are we bringing a Canadian onto our very American show? And I hope let me apologize to our podcasters or our podcast listeners. You got to watch the show. This is one of those shows where we are using the visual art more than professional expressioner that I have never, ever, this is my statement. The second, actually, after I watched this video, because I've been a fan for a long time, Dan. I'm going to let you know right now. And that's why I'm babbling here, because I can't, there's only one person. I hope this doesn't offend you, but if I was to run into Cal Ripken at some point, I'd be the same babbler as well. So that's and for those who don't know, that's a baseball reference. But your art, I've never, ever in my life been able to see or look at a piece of art and experience chaos, compassion, courage, and confidence all in the same portrait. And we'll get to those pieces here, because why do you feel that way, Mark? And we'll show those people that are here watching why. But tell us your inspiration. How did you get to where you're at? And
I started off as let's see, where do I begin? I became an EMT back in 1994, and then an advanced care paramedic in 2003, and full-time firefighter. So I've been a full-time paramedic firefighter since 2003. And over time, which sometimes happens to some of us, the accumulated trauma started to affect me in symptoms that I didn't really recognize what were happening. And it kind of messed my life up a little bit. And the artwork is the result of my therapy. So the artwork is how I process and purge. I describe them as these organic monsters, these memories and experiences that I have, these organic monsters that invade my consciousness uninvited. So these images will just pop into my brain, especially when I'm about to fall asleep. And when I create the artwork, then I trap them into these two-dimensional pictures, and then they no longer invade that memory or that concept or whatever that idea is that I'm trying to portray. Is no longer in my head. So I purge it and trap it into this two-dimensional image. So all the artwork is a result of my treatment. And initially I didn't share with anybody. The first few that I didn't share with anybody. I thought for sure that if other emergency workers saw that, they would be like, oh, who's this guy that's showing paramedics and firefighters in these vulnerable states of torture and contemplation. And the very first one I did had gloved hands on his head, and there's ghosts, and I used angels and demons to represent trauma and recovery. So I have a lot of devils in my artwork, and people sometimes take that the wrong way, but it's their interpretation. But it's my own artwork. It's my own therapy. It's my process. And I'm just super lucky that my peers, some of them have looked at it and attached their own experiences to it and have really accepted it, which is super awesome.
Well, and we had a bunch of pre-show conversation, which was, one of the things that we're finding out in our world is that when there is something to attach to, oh my gosh, look, Daniel Sundahl, he's capturing exactly how I feel. It's okay to feel this way now. Someone has recognized, acknowledged, and I'm there. And we're finding that, and again, there's so many ways we can take this conversation, because getting the word out and having the conversation and meeting with people who have the like issue, concern, trauma is therapeutic for us. And you're using a tool it's pulling yourself. I don't know if I believe you yet, and I apologize. I don't know if I believe you that just because you put it on paper, it's gone.
There's still lots in there. Like there's still,
fair enough.
That's just one of, like, I've been doing this for 20 years. So I've got a Rolodex of material to work with.
Sure. It's amazing. It is amazing. I do see that Chuck is in a little safer situation, so we'll bring him in real quick. I didn't want to be too confused. I had Andrea barking at me in the background. Not barking. Let me rephrase that. We got to bring Chuck in. He looks confused, and I'm like, Captain Ruffin, good to have you here, brother.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good to be here. Sorry it took me a few moments to kind of figure out the technology side of driving while also trying to get this connected.
We would never confess that on our show, because I'm sure OSHA would not be acceptance of that. And,
yeah,
you have paramedics everywhere that probably would be real appreciative of that as well.
Yeah, I decided to pull off to a gas station. I needed to fuel up anyways, and the service was good, so I decided to pull off so I'm a little safer and at least enjoy the conversation versus trying to risk everything to get here. So
I'm guessing your command wouldn't be real happy about it either. But
no, they probably wouldn't, especially if they hear about me doing this while driving. That they'll probably lose their minds, or at least scold me a little bit, because I know better. But it's all good.
So, Mr. Hudson,
that's me.
Yeah, that is you. You had some questions for Mr. Sundahl about his work.
I have so many questions, actually. It's amazing to me, because what you've done is so bold and courageous, because really you are physically putting your mind out there for others to see. One of the pieces I just have to ask you about, I noticed the name strips, and they're very descriptive of perhaps the situation. For instance, the one individual's lying on the ground and the name strip is spent. Mm-hmm. And yet in the other photographs or other artwork that you've done, I call them photographs because they look like photographs. They're so vivid and they tell such a story. There are names at the bottom of the firefighters' coats, like so many have. Is there a differentiation there? Are those actual individuals, or is there a meaning behind those other names as well?
Yeah, I hide a lot of detail work, a lot of detail stuff in my artwork that a lot of people don't know or recognize right away. And I do that to portray whatever emotion I'm trying to get out of my head. And some of them, it is very detailed, like the name tags. I'll hide small things and, on the wall or certain parts. But the one that you're talking about, no, those are just the guys' names. And that picture, I'm working on my fourth art book. And I need to change that up, because I am going to put something a little bit more specific there. But some people, because they know I hide things in the artwork, they'll send me a message like, Dan, I saw your new art piece and I love it. I'm like, I looked in the sky and there's clouds, and I'm like, I see that you put an angel in there. And I'm like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, hey, if you see an angel in there, then there's an angel there, right? I didn't put an angel in there, but if that's what they see, right? So if someone looks at that picture you're talking about, which is called the pallbearers, and
That's it.
if they look at those names, and I'm going to change those names so it'll be different in the book. I'm either going to take them all out or put something a little bit more meaning, which portrays the idea of, as firefighters, when we take bodies out of cars or take sick people out of cars, it looks similar to pallbearers carrying a coffin, because we're carrying this backboard out. And that's kind of why I did that picture. But if someone looks at that, and I feel like, Dan, it's a disappointing answer for you. I wish I could have come up with, oh, yes, well, if you take the third letter of each name and do it backwards, and then it's going to spell out this word, that would have been way cooler. But unfortunately, for that one,
it has some important impact, actually, to me, because your work, especially because I've been in law enforcement, as we discussed prior, that brother and sisterhood, what we do, I get it. And I think that's the impact you're having. It doesn't matter where you're from, what country you're from. I get it. It's this nexus that I don't think anyone can really explain. And you can look at what you've done, and you are portraying not only what you are, but what others are feeling, and they know they're not alone. And that is so important.
Yeah, it's important for me too. When, like you said, when I create stuff, and sometimes I'm like, okay, here you go, everybody. This is a weird one. Like, I don't know if anyone's gonna get this one, because I've had a lot of weird experiences in the back of the ambulance, and I think a lot of us have, and a lot of us don't talk about the weird stuff that we see, and sometimes that stuff haunts me, and I need to get it out of my head. So I create the artwork. I'm like, okay, this one's got like a Grim Reaper and an angel, and a demon clawing at the ambulance. I'm like, oh, I don't know if anyone's gonna get this one. But sure enough, when I do that stuff, then it's people from all around the world. And I know this is, United States focused, but I'm lucky that I get to travel around the world. And it doesn't matter. Like, emergency workers, we're the same everywhere. I've been to Finland. I've been all around the world. I've been to, Australia and through Europe and Central America. And we experience things very similarly. It's not so my goal is to portray our profession in a positive way, in a real way. I'd like to be tragically optimistic. So I want to be authentic on what we experience, but still be optimistic about it, because if we recognize it, then we can get the treatment if we need it. But we're the same. I don't have any borders, because I've traveled in, paramedics in Australia are the same as paramedics here, and I travel extensively through the United States. I go through there quite a bit, and yeah, we're very, like, emergency workers. We're similar all around the world.
I feel like I'm gonna be fighting over you today. I'm sorry. I'm actually a huge fan. It's amazing to me. I just have one more for you here. At what point did you decide, or did you decide, I have to show people this, or did it just happen?
The very first picture I did was 2014, and it was based on a call that I did, where this, I say a boy, but he wasn't. He was 23 years old, and he was hit by a drunk driver on his motorbike, and he died on the back of our ambulance. But as he was dying, he regressed to this little boy and called out for his mother, but was like, mommy, mommy, mommy. Right. And he ended up dying. So the first picture is this body in the back, and the paramedic has gloved hands on his head, and the spirit of the patient is in the airway seat, looking at the paramedic, looking at me with disgust, because I failed his mother, not him. Right. Because that's the thing that really stuck with me, is that this poor woman is never going to know how her son died, how he regressed to a little boy. And thank God she doesn't know. And God, I hope this, I don't know, but I don't share that story often. But when I did that picture, there's like, no, I'm not going to share this with anybody. The gloved hands on the head, there's a ghost in there. Like, there's a dead body there. It was pretty graphic. Lots of, like, I drew in the trauma. And so I didn't share it for a long time. It's not why I made it. I didn't make it to show other people, but it was, it was cartoony. It was kind of looked cool. So I thought, okay, I'm going to share it just to see. I'm going to share it with my 30 friends on Facebook, all of which I personally knew, totally expecting that I'm just going to get crucified for it. But that day I went from 30 to 30,000 followers on Facebook in one day. So what I was worried about with the exact opposite happened when I shared it. And this is back in 2014. So we weren't really talking a lot about PTSD and mental stress. But man, I thought my phone was broken when I shared it. And then that just made me feel way better. That gave me validation that, I'm not alone on how I'm feeling. So yeah, that changed my life, that picture.
That's a really short lifespan of, we're talking 8 years. This is, it's how long does it take for you to get a piece out?
Week.
A week?
About a week long, yeah.
You got a lot of material. I've referenced your stuff often. And I've had some conversation with one of your amazing people. And there's several times we want to use a piece of yours, and out of complete respect, we want to follow the guidelines and honor that. And this is how you feed your family. So I get that. I appreciate your thoughts. Now, back to the piece you were talking about. You were talking about the young man that passed in the back and the mother and where your brain goes as a first responder. And then I see your panic a little bit. We're on a live show. We're talking about this. I know some initial feelings of life might be, oh my gosh, he didn't do everything he could. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think the majority of people that have, the correct cognitive synapses, so to speak, understands stuff happens. But that is a piece that a first responder and our veterans have to weigh through in their life is what did I do wrong and how did I affect other people's lives, even though you really don't have a stake in their lives other than you have their lives in your hands. Mm-hmm. But that is a constant for first responders and veterans alike, and that constantly are reevaluating that, rethinking that, repiecing that.
Yeah, I did a separate art piece on that called The Grim Medic, because we're our worst critics. You don't need to give us crap for we've already gone through our head, but that's not what that picture was about. I knew that I didn't feel like I did anything wrong. This kid was going to die anyways because of the traumatic injuries that he had. But what stuck with my head and the reason I created it was the thought of his mother.
Sure.
Right. That's what stuck to my head because of the way he died. So it really had nothing to do with, what I did for him. And like, I'm a good medic. I did everything that could have been done for him, but they die anyways. That happens.
Are you still an active medic?
Officially, yes, but I'm gonna retire, so I'm transitioning into my next career. So I'm actually gonna be going to school in October, hopefully, and I'm gonna do become a counseling therapist for trauma patient. And I'm gonna do that that's gonna be my next phase, and I'm gonna help my brothers and sisters and
that is awesome.
Emergency services with some counseling therapy.
I know that there's probably more than enough people that need you up there, but we'd steal you away in a heartbeat to come be part of.
Oh yeah, that's my plan. Is I want to continue traveling, and I do travel quite a bit, and I speak at conferences. I exhibit my artwork, and I focus on post-traumatic growth. Mental health is kind of my thing, and I try to promote another way of looking at it where there's a silver lining. If you've been diagnosed with PTSD or you are feeling the effects of trauma from the experiences that you have, that potentially you could use that, rewire your brain through recovery or whatever that looks like for you, and actually end up better than you were before your trauma. And that's a wonderful message, and it's nothing
absolutely
new, right? So that's really what I promote through when I travel and I get asked to exhibit the artwork and I speak at conferences, and and I do that quite a bit, mostly in the States, actually. So I do that quite a bit, and then I plan on developing workshops or things where we can, help people deal with the traumas that they are experiencing.
Awesome. We're going to bring Mr. Ruffin, Captain Ruffin, back in. Are you locked in solid to an hour, or can we go a little bit fudge over that a little bit, or where are you at with that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep. Or we're along. Yep.
All right. Captain Ruffin, what do you got a call name? And I'm asking that for a reason. What's your call sign, brother? Oh, we got some signal. Oh, hang tight. Gotcha. Oh, we're back. All right.
Oh, we're back.
One more time. Yep.
As of right now, no, I do not. I'm heading to weapons school here at Nellis Air Force Base, which is kind of why I'm traveling right now. I've got a few more hours before I get there. During weapons school is typically the location where we get our call signs. We'll have like a call sign night, and you pretty much attack for your call sign kind of thing. And I don't know what it's going to be. I have no idea.
If you meet Maverick, will you get his autograph for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate that. If you haven't had the chance to go watch Maverick, it is probably one of the best pieces put together in a long time. And I'm pretty anal about my movies, but they did a really good job with it. And might have suffered a little smoke inhalation during the movie a little bit, just some nostalgia pieces in there. And
Maverick's got nothing on everybody's favorite Space Force captain. I will
That's
tell you
true.
that right now.
I don't go inverted or anything. But,
I know,
yeah.
Captain, and I'm wondering what's weapons training like for the Space Force? Like, is it any different?
See, I think the name is typically misleading in general for the Space Force because weapons school essentially teaches any military member to become like the best, I guess you can say, weapons tactician of their systems. So, typically your aviators are going through their weapons school to learn their platform, right? And then how to essentially employ that weapon system in wartime. And so when it comes to space, there are systems that we utilize that enable the warfighter. Mm-hmm. And essentially what we do is we develop ways for weapons and tactics on how to best employ those systems to enable the warfighter or to provide, senior leadership that level of warning that they need in order to make tactical or even strategic decisions during wartime.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really excited that you're on the show with me because I think that whole stuff in space is just the coolest thing. I think I'm really interested in that. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it, like every military service that we currently have leverages space in some way. And I give the examples of GPS navigation. Not only does it enable the warfighter to basically fight anywhere in the world, but it also comes down to weapons employment. Some of our weapon systems are enabled by GPS. They're aided by the navigation capabilities, but it's also down to the precision and the timing as well. Those three components that make up GPS, precision, navigation, and timing, are essential to making sure that the warfighter is employing a weapon system at a precise target location, and space enables that warfighter to do that with accuracy.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And that's just one example, right?
You Space Force guys talk way different than us artillery men. I don't know what that's
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm old enough to back when we didn't have a GPS, and and our landlines. And for those who don't know what a landline is, when we would roll in with our 1908s, we actually had to run a piece of cable to anywhere we needed to get communication, so we knew what our job was. And so that my son is a 13 Foxtrot now, and the things he tells me that they're going through is mind-blowing with the skill set that they need to have to do their job. And so I'm again I'm with Mr. Sundahl, and the fact I'm excited to have our first Space Force guy on here. And I have an inner dislike for you guys. I'm just going to say that right now.
Hey, I think that goes with any service. Like, it's a love-hate relationship, so I get it.
Well, you guys messed up my branding a little bit, because we do a 13 stars for all the people we represent, and then all of a sudden Space Force comes in. I don't want to use a 14 star, so I will figure that piece out.
I kind of see that across the nation too. Like, monuments are established with all the current branches of service, and they're like in a perfect format, and then now here comes the sixth branch, and it's like, where's that flagpole go now? They don't know where to put it, because everything else is evenly spaced. So I'm like, oh man, this is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars all across the U.S. just to add one flagpole to their monument.
I can't imagine.
It's a funny, quirky thing.
You've probably heard it all, and again, we're not here to jib and jabby the entire time, but because one of our guests brought it up, you have any knowledge on like the next level of lightsabers that are coming out? Is that
That's pretty great. I don't, unfortunately not. But somebody keeps asking me in my TikToks whenever I'm gonna go to space and do like lightsaber wars. So
that's classified. That is classified information. You can't.
Right. Yeah. Everybody keeps asking me if I'm going to be a space shuttle door gunner, since I'm going to weapons school.
Oh,
buddy. Also, yeah.
I may or may not have that T-shirt, but I will tell you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the ribbing, but you guys are the young guys on the block. You're just gonna have to.
No.
I tell you what. Obviously, you can tell Captain Ruffin is one of the more intelligent people you ever run into. This guy's terrific and multi-talented. Multi-talented that you wouldn't even know. The whole family's talented.
Yeah.
And that's why we actually brought him on. We didn't bring him on because of Space Force. We brought him on because he's got a niche in the world of the music world. Tell us about that.
Just a little bit. So my wife is a singer, and her name is Alyssa Ruffin. And she releases music quite a bit. She just released her newest single, "Party Down a Dirt Road." And as a supporting husband, I obviously want to encourage her success just as much as she does for me in my military career. So a few years ago, I took it upon myself to attend the Los Angeles Film School online in order to acquire an associate's degree in music production. And that was simply because she's consistently doing music, and I wanted to learn the tools and, probably work to enable her music career by having that knowledge and background. But I've also done, I've done the sound for her band. I used to do the booking for her band back in 2012 when she first started out on the East Coast. I've done sound engineering for a few years. And I used to do a lot of the production side too for her. But I look for ways where I can participate, and support her career. So during my time at Los Angeles Film School, I did write and record 2 songs. They aren't the world's greatest songs. I have a demo singer on them. I didn't sing because I don't have that talent, not like she does. But yeah, they're out there. And we're looking to build on that and hopefully start our own record company, if you will, or production company in the future. Yeah.
So on top of overachieving in life, you went to find out something else that you could overachieve in. That's great.
Yeah, I've got a master's in cybersecurity. I have 2 bachelor's degrees in intelligence. I have an associate's in communications applications technology, which, if you really narrow it down, it's public speaking, and then my associate's in music production.
Outstanding.
He needs a bigger wall. That's
a lot of letters behind your name, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we actually have this whiskey ain't bad lined up. Would you be all right if we rolled that out there?
Yeah, as long as people know that it's not me singing. I just did the writing of the music and the lyrics, and I just did the production piece to it. So yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
So this is Captain Chuck. Do you want to give a reference to the vocalist?
Yeah, sure. So during my production timeline for school, I had to write and record a song. And what this gentleman did, his name is James Hover. He's a guitar player from Colorado Springs. I believe he's now down in Arizona. I asked him to help me kind of create the music part because he's a guitar player. So I had him do the guitar parts. And then I asked him if he'd be willing to sing the lyrics. So he said, yeah, sure, why not? So we recorded it and I produced it and released it as part of my project. So yeah, this whiskey ain't bad.
What was his name again?
James Hover.
James Hover.
Mhm.
Should we give him that? So, well, this is James Hover and Truck Ruffin with. Oh, I gotta look it up one more time. This whiskey ain't bad. I know. That's a good start, brother. That's a good start.
Yeah, it was a rough edit, but you know, it was a good song. I mean, like the background of the song is kind of partial to, like, you know, getting deployed and coming home, and then, you know, you found kind of like the love of your life, and you're trying to cope and, you know, appreciate them being in your life, but, you know, there's things just constantly reminding you of being overseas, and that's why some of those lyrics in there talking about, you know, she was an angel, you know, sent just in time kind of thing. It was a play on, like, me coming home from Afghanistan and meeting Alyssa again, and you know, her kind of being there to kind of rescue me, right, from my own thoughts, kind of thing. And of course, my favorite drink of choice is whiskey. So, you know, playing on that piece,
There's
really
worse
helped
things
me
you
kind of
can
write it out.
consume, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have what's your favorite?
Do I have a favorite whiskey?
Yeah.
I'm a standard, like, Jack Daniels guy.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a standard Jack Daniels, but I'll drink anything that tastes good.
I'm going to recommend one to you, Michter's, Michters, sour mash. You will never.
Sour mash.
I mean, yeah, that's my opinion, but
yeah, I'll take a look. I'll check it out.
Unless you like those Irish kind, and, you know, a good proper 12 never hurt anything.
Yeah, a good JMO here and there.
JMO's good. Yep.
Careful, Andrea's a little Irish.
Oh boy.
I will say, I love this, because here you have Mr. Sundahl expressing what's going on inside through his art, and here you have Captain Ruffin expressing what's going on inside through music and words. And finding something like that is so important, and sharing it and having people relate to it. This is what I think is so important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think using that part of your brain, where that creative part, I think is, for me anyways, is a good balance to the other things I see in my job, and then utilizing or focusing that creative part. I play guitar too, but I'm not very good, but it's still a part of it's part of my therapy too, but I don't get invited to because of my guitar, because I'm not very good. I'm not very good.
We'll fix that problem.
But I create it for myself, right? Because it's not, but it's still using that creative part of my brain. And I think a lot of people, and that's something I encourage other emergency workers to do, is to find something. You don't have to be so good that you're invited on to podcasts and stuff.
I've learned over time. I'm better at the technical side of things. So, like, you put a computer in front of me and I can get it all work out. But I'm very passionate about, you know, the mental health and, you know, fighting against the stigma of, you know, people coming home from war. It's a really serious thing to do. You know, it's not an easy transition, and you know, you don't have to be afraid of them, and you also don't have to treat them like a kid either. You just gotta talk to them and be real and connect on an emotional level. And you know, some do and some don't, like, open up. You know, it just takes a certain aspect of learning the art, you know, on how to understand that dynamic. And you know, through expression and art and music, what better way to do that, right? And to really connect to a larger audience, you know.
And I think music production is very artistic. You may not be singing or playing a musical instrument, but to put it all together, I think, is just as artistic. And then of course to write, like, that's poetry. That's super artistic. So I think it's still using that same part of your brain. But
sure. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite moments of our shows, when our guests actually find a connection with each other, and it's amazing how often it happens. And I don't want to interrupt the conversation, but we do have to get a couple other pieces out of the way, and I hopefully keep your thoughts and creativity working, and we'll keep on, because here's another. So one of our pieces in the recalibration that we offer veterans and first responders is creating events. And events are where we get to at the same spot and get paws on each other, eyes on each other, literally our hearts on each other, to build a relationship. And that doesn't become more sexier than when you get to have great food, great drink, great music. And I'm trying to figure out how we get to have Mr. Sundahl stuff on our radio station because the kid doesn't work. But I mean, there's ways that we can get the visual stuff out there everywhere. One of our listeners says they drink beer. I'm concerned that might be Michael Ledford out of Puerto Rico with
drink beer.
ESP. Yeah,
I drink beer too.
Brother. Amen. Miss Eichmann.
Yes, sir.
What's in the news?
Oh, we have got news today. Can I just start with because our first responder world, our country does not have a lot of designated days to celebrate our first responders, so I celebrate them every Sunday right here, right now. And Stephen John likes to drink beer.
Go ahead. He's got a song called "I Drink Beer," and that makes a lot of sense. And I have to say it. Stephen John, keep your shirt on, brother. That's
no, he doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. I'm just gonna say, do what you do, Stephen John.
Andrea's been useless to us for the last 3 days because of that last picture.
Oh my gosh, awesome. I haven't even been in the real world. I had to catch up
Flaunt
today.
it if you got it.
I got it all caught up. So, okay, back to first responders. And so I actually just looked today for things to share, but I didn't like what I saw when I looked because it's kind of a mess out there. One person that came up, we have a buddy, Zechariah, who runs a mile for each lost in action first responder, and that kid can't catch up right now. He's been so busy traveling and running his miles that he can't keep up. There's too many, and not all of them are necessarily to the detriment of the other guys. So let's just keep that in our mind, especially this weekend as we finish out our celebration over the 4th this summer, this weekend, because they're on call every minute, every place. I know that starting yesterday morning when people started their firecrackers and whatever else they got going on, we have heard sirens around here all day. So let's just keep them in our thoughts and prayers for this entire rest of the week, probably until everybody's done with this celebrating that they're doing right now. On top of that, July is Social Wellness Month. And I don't know if I need to say much more. Social wellness is critical to our well-being and our relationships, and keeping good care of our wellness can offer critical support during challenging times. Take advantage of these summer months to foster genuine connections with everybody around you, especially family and friends. July 1st, a couple days ago, but I didn't want to leave out the Air Force Medical Service birthday. Thank you for 73 years of selfless service, sacrifice, and dedication to providing, this is a quote for them, trusted care anywhere. Thank you, Air Force Medical Service. And then, of course, you guys know tomorrow's 4th of July, 2022. Here we go. A quote from A. Philip Randolph. Freedom is never given, it is won. And I think that's pretty appropriate. To all our service members, veterans, their families who made incredible sacrifices for the freedom we're celebrating today, and I'm going to include our first responders. Hey, happy 4th of July, Independence Day, birthday. And then there is just one little throw out. Remember your fireworks safety. Let's not treat them like, well, I don't know, like we're immune to anything that can happen. Just be careful. Enjoy them. Nobody would say don't enjoy them, but please be careful. And with that, I will tell you happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Let's increase our listenership just a little bit. And, just say hi to Stephen John real quick.
Oh, my
God.
Here we go, brother. You asked for it. There you go. And boom.
Wow.
There's our Marine brother. Love having him.
I'll tell you one thing: the Space Force doesn't have bodies like that. I'm just saying.
You know what? If I watched the movie Maverick, I could argue with you, but that's that's a tease too.
You're infatuated with Maverick.
It was a great show. I'm telling you right now. It was awesome.
What about Goose, man? Goose made the first. I mean, he was my
So
favorite.
I don't want to give anything away to the movie. They do an awesome. You would think the guy was a real person, to be honest with you, with the way they did the show, and they do a great homage to him. And so no, it's
wait. He's not a real person.
No, he's not. And
No,
and Val Kilmer.
Val
Kilmer's in there too, which again, that's a heartthrob. If you guys don't know, I mean, Val Kilmer's not the Doc Holliday anymore, and he's not
Like,
in the best shape.
Literally, they put Val Kilmer in this movie.
He's in the movie.
Like
he's
the
in the
current
movie
Val Kilmer.
with a part. Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They do amazing.
Bold.
They had to do voiceover for him, I heard, too,
They
because
did.
of his throat cancer.
Right.
Oh,
There's a
really?
whole
They did.
documentary about him out there, and it's a very sad story. Actually.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to do space, or not Space Force. He didn't even want to do the original Top Gun, Val Kilmer, and so it is. So exciting news. Alyssa Ruffin is going to be on our show on July 17th, and we're excited about that. I mean,
That's awesome.
our network is so cool because here's the deal. We just recently met Sugar Rose in the last couple of months, and oddly enough, Sugar Rose brings us Dan Hudson, who is in Minnesota, which is weird that we haven't ran into him yet. And then all of a sudden, Alyssa Ruffin, who I haven't met yet and have had some talk, is in the picture and wants to be on the show. And we had a cancellation this weekend, and I reached out to Alyssa, said, what are the chances? And she's, I'm busy, but I got this guy that can kind of fill in. He's all right. And
I know him a little bit.
Yeah.
and then we got Chuck popping in, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
I love our network. I love the people that are in here. I love Jess Sams. Good. I'm glad your kid is good. All things are rolling in the right direction. We're excited for you and your family. And Jess Sam's part of the WeP3 team. And we've been worrying and having his family in our prayers recently. Not major stuff, but stuff that's got to get through anyway. All right. 2 minutes, but we're going to go over like we normally do, which is okay. So you can go watch Scuttlebutt after you're done watching us if you want to. And sorry, Andrew Fair, we love you too, brother.
It's okay. He was here for a little bit. He's all good.
Chuck, Captain Ruffin, what's next for you, brother?
Well, I think I briefly mentioned it. I'm currently traveling to Nellis Air Force Base. I will be here for the next 5.5 or so months. And during that time, I'll be, in probably one of the hardest schools that I've ever participated in my entire career. And that's basically what's on my agenda right now. What happens after that? Well, it's just it's open. The future is open. Alyssa's got a lot of good things going. She's going to be traveling the country doing her tour stuff this fall, and I'll be out here training and moving around all over the place. And the Space Force is rapidly growing, and it's awesome to be a part of the Space Force and its growth and the foundation of a brand new service since 1947. And it's remarkable to say out loud, to be an officer, being a part of literally history in the making. So it's fascinating to me to watch it all come together.
That's awesome. This is completely off subject. I have a kid because I'm a teacher, and people who don't know that, me and Andrea are both school teachers. I have a kid who is like a brilliant savant who doesn't think he can afford to get to the pieces he needs to be. But I even wrote a letter to Elon Musk, oddly enough, and asked if we could get this kid what he needed to do to get to the next level. He's brilliant. What word of advice would you give me to get him heading in that direction?
In the career field for the Space Force, well, in a generalized career, like we really focus on our STEM people, and it's kind of almost unfortunate, really, because we've kind of focused ourselves mostly on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But if you have a general understanding of all of those concepts, and you can really apply yourself in that arena, or you at least are fascinated by it, that's actually really helpful to have some type of passion that way, because space is very technical in a lot of ways, but it's not always technical. There's a lot of different aspects to it, and just be passionate about something that you really want for yourself in your learning. And then if it's something new and undiscovered, by all means, try to test those boundaries, because we need more people like that. And that's the reason why we have the Elon Musks out there.
Someone's at the front doorbell.
Oh,
No, sorry, that was me.
that's okay.
I'll just ignore it. It's probably Amazon dropping something off.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's why we have the Elon Musks out there, is because you're testing the boundaries of people constantly telling you no.
Absolutely.
And so that's the best advice I can give you is do that for yourself.
He's heading towards diesel mechanic, and I think he's way, way, way cutting himself short. But we'll keep that conversation going. Mr. Sundahl, what's next for you, brother?
Well, I'm going to be returning to Michigan in September, so I'm going to be touring that state again and visiting my fellow emergency workers there and taking some photos and creating some artwork for them. Then I'm going to be in Florida for EMS World in October, and that's always a super fun conference. It's the biggest EMS conference in North America, I believe. There'll be 5,000 or 6,000 people there, I hope.
What are the dates for that?
You put me on the spot. October. I can't remember. It's in my calendar, but it's going to be in Orlando, and that's always a fun time there. And then from there, I go right to Mississippi for a conference there. I love going down there. People there are amazing. And then on hopefully October, I'll be starting my 2-year program for counseling therapy to become a counseling therapist. Yeah,
I'm excited for that piece, and that's. If by chance, I'm going to plant some seeds here right now. If by chance you're in the area and space of Nashville on October 20th through the 25th, we'd like to entertain you, having the thought of letting us wine and dine you in that space.
I love Nashville. I've been there a few times. It's a good time.
We might have some artists that are playing at the Grand Ole Opry that weekend, and some other people hanging around with us.
Yeah, what are the dates? October 20th.
October 20th through the 25th.
Okay. Yeah, well, kind of be in that area, anyways. So if the timing works out, I can mosey on over, and I think I love that. I love Nashville's one of my favorite cities. I love it there. It's a great time there. I saw the best blues band I've seen in my life there, and I went to when I travel and I visit other emergency workers, and I talked to a firefighter there, and I says, hey man, we're going to go listen to great music here in Nashville, and he gave me this name of this place. He goes, you have to go down this back alley. It was like a speakeasy place or something, and you got to go. And I thought, I'm going down this back alley, and my buddies are with me, and we go in this door, and it's this tiny place, and man, that was the best music I've ever heard in my life there. It was amazing. It was so good. And I love it there. It's a good time.
So I don't know if you're aware of this, Mr. Sundahl, but we have a radio station called WeP3 Radio that plays only veteran and first responder musicians.
I am aware of that. Yeah.
And so, maybe you got some people in your wheelhouse that maybe you could say, hey, check this out. We'll give them a chance and have them on the show. This is post-show conversation here, but we're there. We're ready to go. And I got a closer tonight that's going to take a little longer than normal, and that's okay. Right now is our time. Make sure you're doing your buddy checks, and we don't do them just one. We do them in the 6-pack because no one just can have one. So make sure you're reaching out to your brothers and sisters. And if you think they're strong, give them that pat on the back, because maybe they're having a moment. Maybe they're struggling with something at that second, and that pat on the back is just one of those pieces that they need to have. Remember, we're an opportunity. We're an opportunity to serve those who haven't had the chance to serve. For whatever reasons, here's another opportunity. For those who have served and are looking for a place to put their skill set, their thoughts, their brains, their ideas, we have a plethora of opportunities here with the People's Patriot Project to make sure we're reaching out to those who've already served. And we are the beacon of hope. We would lighten the load of those that might need a little extra help. We're not broken. and we're not here to fix you. We're here to recalibrate some of that stuff that got stuck in there, and we do that through being boots on the ground, building relationships, and being here for you. Anyone got anything in closing you guys want to get off your chest or have a conversation about?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on your show. And I want to wish you an early happy Independence Day from Canada. Day early. Hope you guys have a good time and be safe down there.
Yeah, same. I hope everybody has a great, safe 4th of July weekend. I'm still traveling, so I'll be there in a couple hours. But thanks for having me on the show. I know it was a little bit tedious to get me here, but I'm glad I made it. And this is great conversation. So please check me out on my social media if you want. Keep in touch. I would love to reconnect, in a couple of months or so, and let you guys know how my progress is, and have a cool conversation just like this once again.
Thank you, Captain Ruffin. Dan, you got anything, brother?
We're just the shock and awe, guys. Just the shock and awe.
Oh, give me that second. Yeah. Andrea, anything?
No, I just want to thank you all for being here, and stay safe. Stay safe this weekend.
God bless this country. God bless the growth that we have had. God bless the growth that we will continue to have. This has been an amazing ride. It hasn't been a long ride. We'll get through this together. We could do the old Doug Lane. Show us your we. Patriot pride.
Do it.